One of the easiest things to get wrong in Unity is inter-object communication. When you've got one script that needs to interact with another script or another object completely, it can get really confusing to figure out the right way to do it. So today I want to go over all the options available, tell you which ones are the best and which ones to avoid, which if you're an experienced Unity developer might not be what you're expecting. Let's start with the simple ones. The first thing that you want to do is use direct references. If you have an object that you want to reference in another object, you can use a reference to it by adding a public field or the serialized field attribute. I generally prefer going with a private field that has the serialized field attribute, or sometimes a public property that has the field serialized like this. This allows you to just drag the reference right into the inspector and see it at edit time. Now there are some restrictions. You need to do this at edit time only, and the field will actually limit the type to the type that you've put there. Some people put GameObject for everything. I generally prefer to put the script type. Now the big benefits here are that you can see the reference right there in the inspector. These load really fast and they're very simple to set up. There are a couple downsides, so you need to have objects that are actually in the scene or that are children of that prefab. You can't reference objects across scene or things that are spawned dynamically. Now I like to use these often, most of the time with prefabs that are referencing their children objects, but I do use them quite a bit just in normal development. I think serialized fields are super handy. And one other thing you can do with this is add an OnValidate method that will actually find the object to fill in that reference. I add that sometimes if I have an object where I'm going to be creating a whole bunch of them, like an NPC that needs to get some child object or something else. If you want to find objects that are dynamic, things that are either spawned dynamic or found by something that is spawned dynamic, for instance, maybe an enemy trying to find the player, there are a couple different ways you can go about that. One is a simple GameObject.find. It's one of the first things that you'll see in Unity. It allows you to find an object by name. I generally do not recommend this. It's nice for quick little hacks every now and then, but there's the big issue that people rename things and then your project just breaks and you don't really know why. Another way that you can find an object is by using the FindObjectgByType, or now it's FindFirstObjectgByType, that will get you the first object of a specific type that it finds in the open active scene or in all of the scenes. It'll search that active one first. This allows you to find anything that you're going to have just one of. It is really handy, but it has the downside of being slightly slow. So you generally only want to use these in initialization methods, maybe in your start, your awake, or something like that, but not usually in an update. It's fine to use them initially in your updates too until you figure out the best way that you want to do your communication. I often find that I start with a FindObjectgByType or FindFirstObjectgByType, and then I switch over to one of the other methods that we're going to talk about next. There are a couple other important things to mention here. If you've got something that you want to find a whole bunch of, like a bunch of enemies or a bunch of bullets or something, you can use FindObjectsByType, which actually gives you back a collection or an array of those objects. You'll often find that people mix these up and don't see the S there, so sometimes the return type is wrong. If you have compilation errors, make sure you look at that. But it's a good way to find all of the things that are of a specific type. Again, it's somewhat slow, so you don't want to do this in your update method. And one other one that you can use, and some people use, I generally never use though, is find objects with tag. This allows you to search by a tag that you add to the object instead of a type or a name. Some people like to build their games heavily tag based. I generally don't do it often, but it's important to know about. Now let's go back to my example where we have one player and a bunch of enemies that want to find that player. If you have a situation where there's a thing that there's only one of in a game, a very common and very useful pattern is the Singleton pattern. This is where you create a single static instance of an object that can be accessed from anywhere, or at least it has a static access point to that object so that you can get to it from anywhere. And what that looks like is way simpler than it actually sounds. You basically have a public static object of whatever the type is that you're creating, named instance or something else, typically with a getter and a private setter. And the way that I like to do it is in the awake method, I set the instance to that object. So then when I have a single player, the player can awake itself, set its instance reference, and then anything that needs to access that player can just access the player.instance, and that's the player that was set. Now there is a downside to this, of course, the biggest one being that you can only have one of that type of object. So it works great with scenarios like that where you only have one of an object, not so great with other things. In those cases, you'll often have a singleton that's just managing a collection of those objects instead. Now, a lot of people you'll hear argue against singletons. They're pretty much all crazy, or really just they're thinking about this wrong. The scenarios that they're thinking about are cases often where there's more than one of an object. The object needs to get destroyed and recreated. In a game, 90% of the time, we don't have that. You don't want to have singletons for your bullets, of course, but for a player or anything that you're going to have one of and keep around, or some global manager, a singleton is the simplest, easiest to understand, and most performant option. Definitely recommend you just add them in and don't listen to the people that tell you not to. Now let's go on to dependency injection. This is a big one that's a huge topic in a lot of other tech industries or a lot of other code industries. Doesn't get used too often in games. And in Unity, I wouldn't recommend that you go this route either. There are some interesting things that you can do with it, but generally what I found is that if you try to add a dependency injection framework, or you start just trying to inject your dependencies all along the chain, you really just end up overcomplicating things, adding a bunch of extra references to things that are almost always just static singletons that you have one of. You really only ever need to access that one point in memory. There's not a lot of need for it. Sometimes you want to pass an object into another object, and that's kind of light dependency injection when you're creating it. Perhaps you have a panel that's creating buttons, and you want those buttons to know about the panel or know about something else. You might pass that in. But beyond that, I would say avoid dependency injection if you're building a game in Unity. Now, that's a little bit different with the dot side of stuff, but in general, Unity development, just avoid it. Now I want to go into something a little bit bigger, passing messages around and event systems, event buses, and all of that. There are a lot of options that you have for communicating with objects that are kind of responding to something else. If you have a situation where a player dies and you want a whole bunch of things to happen, there are a whole bunch of different ways that you can go about that. You could set up a message queue or an event bus type system. You could use the built-in SendMessage and broadcast message stuff. I've even seen people build some really interesting big scriptable object signal type systems where you're creating the whole game flow by dragging objects in and adding these references so that one object triggers another object. I really don't like doing 90% of those. I found that they're all fun, interesting, and kind of cool to set up, but they almost always just add a bunch of extra complexity and a bunch of extra CPU cycles that you don't need for really zero benefit. What I prefer to use most of the time are just simple static events. These are events that are on the object type that's actually doing the thing. If it's on an enemy, there'll be a static event on the enemy class. And those events will often pass in the object that's doing the thing, like if an enemy died or it took damage or it did some other action that other systems are going to care about. It'll pass in the enemy and then any related data as an additional parameter there. I don't like to go the other routes because I found that every single one of them, which they all are designed to try to make things easier or make things less coupled, they don't do either one of those things. For instance, event buses, they hide where the objects are going. So an event bus, if you haven't seen one, is a setup where you can subscribe to messages, and a message can just be a simple struct. So you're creating a new struct that is a message that often has some data inside of it. These are what would be parameters in a static event. And then you're subscribing to that, which is really just kind of adding a delegate or a callback to a list, or using a delegate system, adding a callback into there. And then you can publish to it so that everything that's subscribed listens. The big downsides here are that, one, you have to create a bunch of extra code for these messages. Two, you have to hit Shift F12 to go find where the thing is coming from. So if you want to figure out where a message is actually being published from, it's not obvious by the name. If it's a static event, you can tell it's from that class. It's very obvious what it's coming from. If it's from a message, it could be coming from literally anywhere, which is another big downside to it. A static event can only be invoked from the place that's actually coming from that class. An event that's coming through a message bus like this can come from anywhere in your code, And that totally breaks any idea of decoupling. The whole idea that you're decoupled with an event bus is completely untrue because you're completely coupled everywhere. Any part of your code can instantly get into any other part of your code and trigger stuff. And then it also gets much more difficult to debug, not just because of that, but also because often those event bus systems that you build end up delaying things, moving stuff, and then it's hard to tell exactly where in the stack you were or where the event call came from unless you add in a bunch of extra logging around there. It just ends up, like I said, having no benefit. Now, there is a benefit if you have a big distributed system. You've got something like RabbitMQ or Kafka or something where you're sending messages that are going out of process. But in a game, especially in a Unity game like this, everything is in memory, in process. There's no benefit to doing this. Now, you could even, I can think some scenarios. Let's not talk about that anymore. That's okay. So I guess to wrap it up, just the real goal here is keep it simple when you're building these things. When you're setting up your references, go with the easiest, simplest thing. Don't add a lot of complexity because it really just makes things slower and more difficult. The serialized field references are great. Just use those when you can. If everything's in the same scene or in a prefab. If you've got something there's only one of, definitely use a singleton. Don't be afraid to use FindObjectgByType or FindFirstObjectgByType either. You'll find that even though I say it's slow relative to like how fast you want to be going. If you're doing it in an update loop and you're seeing it's going to slow stuff down, definitely fix that. But what you'll see is that most of the time it's not going to matter, at least while you're building your game, until you get to a point where you're starting to work on performance, and you can kind of optimize some of those calls away too. So don't worry too much about it, but go for some simple singletons. Singletons work great. I really, again, like the property setup here. And then the static events. Those are by far my favorite way to go about just communicating across objects. Just make sure that you're unregistering for them, which you have to do with everything else. It's important to do that. Well, technically in an event-based system, you could have it throw away those messages, but then you're still just running into extra calls that you don't need. So avoid it. Keep it simple. I don't know what else to say. If you really disagree with me, drop a comment down below. If you agree, do that as well. And either way, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and all that stuff. See you in the next video. Bye.